Welcome to my YouTube channel. Today we're going to talk about my birth story and what happened. This was a highly requested video, so let's get into it. So I gave birth at 36 weeks and it was insane. So 2 weeks prior to birth, I was having some symptoms and my midwife recommended me to track my symptoms. I was having some headaches. I started having some vision changes and white spots in my vision. My blood pressure was okay and normal. It would go high a little bit, but it wasn't the average high number that they look for. Now, a lot of you may know I had preeclampsia with my first and I had to get induced, so I was at higher risk of getting preeclampsia again. So as I'm tracking everything down, I did call my midwife and they asked me to come in. Now, that weekend before I came in, I was having a lot of contractions. I thought they were Braxton Hicks, but come to find out they were contractions. That was happening for 3 days straight, and they were very regular, but they were irregular in times between the contractions. When I came to my OB office, they noticed that my blood pressure was high, and they sent me to labor and delivery. When I came into labor delivery, they checked my urine, they checked my blood, and my midwife came in and she told me that based off of my labs, everything was great. The only thing that spiked up was my protein in my urine. And based off of my symptoms, it looks like I could possibly be brewing preeclampsia again, based off of my history. She explained that there is 2 situations we have to think about here. When it comes to inducing, and especially in the situation that I've had the history of preeclampsia, is it the best interest to deliver the baby sooner to make sure that the baby and the mom is safe, but risking baby to be in the NICU? And the risk is high for the baby being in the NICU should I continue this pregnancy. At this point, I was shocked because I literally have done everything in my possible power to not get preeclampsia. And now they're talking about a possible chance of inducing me, which kind of scared me because I just turned 36 weeks pregnant. You know, I know that I delivered my son at 36 and 5 and he was fine, but still that anxiety of the what ifs and possibly of her being in the NICU terrified me. They finally came up with the decision to induce me because the risk of me continuing the pregnancy could possibly have me get preeclampsia, and then that can turn into eclampsia, which is seizures and a bunch of not great things. So before they induced me, they checked my cervix and I was 3 centimeters dilated. My midwife told me that the reason why I could be this dilated so soon is because I'm brewing preeclampsia and my body's like, okay, it's time to deliver the baby. So I would have went into delivery probably sooner than later. So we start the inducement process. They did Pitocin and they had to put me on magnesium, which I absolutely hate. And the contractions from, I think I started the inducement process around 7 on the 9th, and then I was contracting all night, and it was pretty tolerable. Like, I could handle it, and it did feel exactly the same as the contractions I had at home. I basically held off with contractions all up until 8 centimeters, but I didn't sleep that whole night of the 9th because I just couldn't sleep. I had way too much anxiety and the contractions were slowly progressing, becoming more intense. And one of my goals was I wanted to go natural. I did not want to have an epidural because when I delivered my first son, I had the epidural and it failed and it messed up my back. So I really, really wanted to go natural. And I tried so hard. Up until the next day on the 10th, I was at 8 centimeters for a little while and my contractions were getting extremely intense. Like, they were like 20 seconds in between, and I can't even describe to you how painful it was. And my body just started to I don't even know how to describe, but like give out. Like, I couldn't take it anymore, and I was staying at 8 centimeters and I needed to obviously progress more based off of my contractions. So I finally agreed to get the epidural. Let me tell you something. Getting the epidural that late in your contractions is not fun because when they're putting the needle in your back, you're literally shaking every 30 seconds. It was so hard for me to stay still. But as soon as the epidural was in, it slowly got better, and then within that hour, my daughter was born. I pushed her out in 5 minutes, and I heard her scream and cry, and I was so happy. I got the skin-to-skin contact. I didn't get that with my son. She was a cute little peanut. She still is. She was 5 pounds and 8.5 ounces. She was healthy and great. And after I gave birth, I did spoke to my midwife because I was pretty discouraged about the whole situation. And she said, thank God that you did work out and that you were eating healthy and you were taking baby aspirin, because I feel like this would have been a completely different story if you did not. And this is why you probably were brewing preeclampsia towards the end. Because with my first, I had preeclampsia towards like second trimester. And I had it since second trimester all the way till 36 weeks pregnant. So I am thankful for that. So I'm grateful that, both of us are okay. All my symptoms went away after giving birth. The only tough thing that happened is the day we were supposed to get discharged, we did the car seat test for my daughter and she failed. And they had to monitor her for 24 hours to make sure that her lungs are developed, if there's any issues, and she's fully developed. I had to get discharged, so that was really hard. I was allowed to stay at the hospital if I would like, but I could leave anytime, and I wanted to come home and, see my animals, see my son. So I did leave for a few hours, and I was a mess. I came back, I stayed the night. I was praying that she's okay, that she's developed well, and the next day we got sent home and she passed all tests and she did very, very well. It was a lot last week, and I definitely feel just like, wow, like I can't believe it happened. I can't believe she's here. I also can't believe she was born on my birthday, which is kind of crazy. But I'm so glad that both of us are okay. She's doing well. She's gaining a lot of weight. She's eating so much. And I'm doing well. So I'm just grateful that at least the outcome is better than, what happened. But yeah, this is my birth story. This is what happened. And I am grateful for the midwife and all the nurses that took care of me while I was in labor and during my postpartum stay. Preeclampsia is no joke, and now that I know that I am just prone to getting it genetically, I probably won't be having any more kids, which makes me sad, but unfortunately, due to me having other children, I need to put my health first so I can be there for my kids. So thank you guys so much for listening to my birth story. I hope you guys have a beautiful day.